for our announcement of the 2015 induction class to the Kentucky High School Hall of Fame. My name is Billy Reed. It's my privilege and honor to be your MC this morning. And I should also wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day. Now, how many of you all here, you have to be honest now, how many of you all are legitimate Irish? Hold up your hands. And how many are fake Irish? Hold up your hands. Didn't wear anything green? Okay, that's all right. First of all, before we get started this morning, we're going to have a brief video presentation.
Kentucky is known for many things: beautiful horses, smooth bourbon, and best of all, the game and spirit that is basketball. We want to invite you to Elizabethtown and the Kentucky High School Basketball Hall of Fame. In downtown Elizabethtown, we pride ourselves on our generous hospitality and rich heritage, like the historic Brown Pusey House, the State Theater, and the Hardin County History Museum. The opening of the Kentucky High School Basketball Hall of Fame will allow us to showcase the impeccable talent that began right here in the Commonwealth. The dream started here in Kentucky for many of these athletes that went on to become college and NBA stars. Downtown Elizabethtown and the Kentucky High School Basketball Hall of Fame. It's a slam dunk.
Okay, I'd now like to recognize the mayor of Elizabethtown, the High School Basketball Hall of Fame host community. Please welcome Ms. Edna Berger.
Thank you. We are so excited. And I got to tell you all, this is the best class ever. This is the best year ever. And I'm so happy for all of you all. And you know what's absolutely crazy? You all, I was at Western with Bobby Rasco. And Mr. Bevers is our very own Hardin County representative. My kids were just so excited about Winston Bennett. I mean, just everybody here, I mean, this is great. This is going to be the best year ever, and we are very excited in Elizabethtown, and we're hoping in a very short while to break some ground and shovel some things around and be all ready, so when you get there, July the 11th, when you're all there, that you'll see what's going on, and you'll be just as excited, and we look forward to seeing all of you. Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
I don't know about you all, but I'm not buying that thing that she was in school at the same time as Bobby Raskin. Because she's got to be 15 years younger than he is. Okay, thank you, Mayor. Now it's my pleasure to introduce a new member of our team, the High School Basketball Hall of Fame celebration event coordinator, Ms. Sarah Vaughn. Sarah? Wasn't there a great singer named Sarah Vaughn?
Yes. She doesn't remember.
Sarah Vaughn.
Thank you all so much. A huge congratulations to each one of you all. This is quite the achievement. The excitement from this week, March Madness, of course, our beloved Cats. We're so excited about the Hall of Fame. Every year we start talking about it, and I've been kind of on the sidelines, if you will, for the celebration ceremony the last couple of years. And I cannot wait. We're so excited to host each one of you this summer. We get to show off our beautiful city, and on top of that, the Hall of Fame and what it's going to bring to the city of Elizabethtown and the revitalization program that we have going. This is key. This is absolutely key. And thank you to each one of you for what you're contributing to the city, to the state, and obviously to basketball. So thank you. We look forward to seeing you in July.
Thank you, Sarah. Our next brief speaker is a former coach, coached at the high school level, the college level, Division I, Division II. Matter of fact, Mike's staff at Virginia Commonwealth included Tubby Smith, Scott Davenport, who has Bellarmine gunning for another Division II championship, and the current coach at Western Kentucky, Ray Harper. Mike was the head coach, but he's done a really fantastic job of helping us raise money, needing that effort to get this Hall of Fame built. So please, let's have a big welcome for Mike Polio.
All of my assistants did better than I did. I was sort of like Moses, who wandered around the desert for 40 years and never got into the promised land. But they all did, including Wayne Chapman, who was my assistant at Kentucky Wesleyan and went on to great things there. But the word, I guess, as the mayor said, is exciting. There are really exciting things happening. We've raised over $1 million for this facility. Phase 1 will be the renovation of the church, the Cathedral of High School basketball. And they say, why church? It's almost a religion in the States, so why not a church? But we raised $1 million. We have, the architect has finished the design. The contractor has been brought aboard. He is now, as we speak, getting subcontractors' prices. It's an exciting time. Finances are being finished as we speak.
When we were kids, basketball was king, and Friday nights were sacred, and we want to let the people know what that's about. But everything is moving ahead full steam. Gary French is really helping in Elizabethtown. We're on the way. We will have a groundbreaking ceremony at the function in July. And it's our goal, and it's done. So we will have that done in July. So hope you'll be part of it when you come to the function. Thank you.
Okay, now to introduce the class of 2015. Our first inductee played at Pikeville High School from 1946 to 1950. One of the greatest shooters ever to come out of the mountains, Dickie Prater led the Pikeville Panthers to consecutive state tournament appearances in 1949 and 50. He scored more than 2,000 career points, averaging 29 points per game his senior year. He was selected to the LIT All-Tournament team in both his junior and senior years and was named first team All-State in 49 and 50, leading the balloting for the All-State team his senior year. Adolph Rupp signed Prater to a scholarship, but he didn't go or play to Kentucky. He went to Georgetown, didn't he?
No,
South Carolina, okay, excuse me. He should have gone to Georgetown. No, to Dickie, to accept on behalf of Dickie, Bobby Venters. Now, Kenny Trivett tells me that Bobby Venters took the last shot in the coaching career of another inductee this morning, John Bill Trivett, and he took the first shot for Dickie Prater in Dickie's college coaching career. When he came back to Pikeville. So please welcome, accepting for Dickie Prater, Mr. Bobby Venters. I wish politicians were like Bobby Venters and declined to talk. That'd be a great thing. Okay, our next inductee played at Scott County High School from 1991 to 1995. Named Miss Kentucky Basketball in 1995. Yukari Figgs was named All-State in 1994 and 95. She was the MVP of the 1959 state tournament, which her Scott County Cardinals won. Her 33 assists for the 1995 tournament, including 11 in one game, puts her among the elite in girls basketball tournament history. She later played on an NCAA championship at Purdue and was the MVP at the Final Four. As a professional, she also played on a championship team. High school, college, pros. That's pretty impressive. Yukari Figs cannot be with us this morning, but let's have a round of applause in her. Our next inductee also cannot be with us. He played at Owensboro High School from 1969 through 72. Jerry Thruston led the Owensboro Red Devils to the state championship in 72. He was All-State tournament in 71 and 72, and was also given the honor of being Kentucky's Mr. Basketball in 1972. He was known for his athleticism and his versatile game, and received first-team All-State recognition both as a junior and a senior. Jerry's family is well known in Owensboro for their contribution to the storied Red Devil basketball tradition. Jerry Thurston. This next one is really special to me. My first year of covering, the first year I covered the state tournament as a newspaperman was in 1962. I covered it for the Lexington Leader. And that year, my alma mater, Henry Clay, where I just graduated a year earlier, and St. X were kind of 1-2 all season long. The only game St. X lost, as a matter of fact, was to Henry Clay in the finals of the AIT. And I got to know Mike Silliman Sunday morning. I'll never forget, it was a cold day up there in Ashland, and about 7 o'clock I got a knock on my door. And I opened the door, and it was Mike Silliman. And he said, "Are you Billy Reed?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, somebody told me you had a car and I want to go to Mass. Can I borrow your car?" And so that was the beginning of a friendship that went on through his college career. He played for my friend Bobby Knight at West Point, and Coach Knight has told me many times that to this day, Mike Silliman is the best basketball player he ever coached. He was captain of the West Point team his senior year, and then he went on to become the captain of our 1968 Olympic basketball team. A lot of people don't know that Kentucky produced back-to-back Olympic basketball captains, Mike Silliman in '68 and Kenny Davis, we're here with us this morning. That's pretty strong for one state. Kenny, you stand up and take it back. But Mike was a gentle giant and just such a fine person, and he died way too young, and many of us still miss him, but we certainly are happy that he's receiving this recognition. Here to say a few words on behalf of his father is Scott Silliman. Scott?
Well, thank you, Billy, for all those words. And I know I've heard Coach Knight say that same thing in person, that he was the finest player he ever coached. It's quite humbling to hear. It's an honor to be here. And unfortunately, my father can't be here to accept this. There's been many awards he's won over the last 15 years that we've been in attendance for. So thank you, Billy, for what you said.
Thank you, Scott. Mike's brother, Dan, is also here with us. Dan Silliman, right here. Our next inductee played at Madisonville High School from 1985 through '89. He scored 2,676 points while dishing out 677 assists. He received All-State recognition for the '87, '88, and '89 seasons. He was named to the KHSAA All-Tournament team in '89, while also receiving accolades as a Parade and McDonald's All-American. Travis Ford became a huge crowd favorite at the University of Kentucky. I think didn't he go to Purdue first, or was that Macy went to Purdue? Huh? Missouri, and then transferred to Kentucky, and thank heavens he did, because he was Rick Pitino's, one of his great point guards. He became a huge fan favorite at UK, went into coaching after that, unsurprisingly, considering who his father is, and is currently coaching at Oklahoma State, which has made the NCAA tournament field, if I'm not mistaken. Please welcome, accepting for Travis Ford, his father, Mr. Eddie Ford.
I didn't know I was going to get to speak, but I know that Travis would have liked to have been here, but he's got something that's pretty important the next couple of days. They play Oregon in Omaha, and on Friday afternoon, and his team, they're leaving out today. So I came to at least sit in for him, and I know that he's extremely honored. I talked to him last night and again this morning, and I've been sick all weekend, so stick with me a little bit. But anyway, I know it's quite an honor. His high school career was something that was kind of special for him. Playing at UK was also obviously very special. So, you know, something like this just adds to it. So thank you very much.
The Oregon basketball team is going to play against Oklahoma State, just like the Oregon football team played against Ohio State. Go bet on Oklahoma State. I may change my mind, though. You know how these brackets go. You get very confusing. Our next honoree, another friend of mine and a real favorite. He played at Anderson County High School in 1967-71, and by the way, Jimmy Dan, you're probably going to mention something, but I wanted to remark on the passing of Mr. Jack Upchurch, Jimmy Dan's coach. His wife Ann has been one of the driving forces behind our Hall of Fame efforts, and certainly we're all going to miss Jack. Jimmy Dan was named Kentucky's Mr. Basketball in 1971, while also receiving parade All-American honors. He was named first team All-State in 70 and 71, while leading the Anderson County Bearcats to a runner-up finish in the 1971 Sweet 16. He was named to the All-Tournament team. He wowed, that's what it says here, he wowed the crowd with his high arching jump shot and classic style. I've never heard anybody say you had a classic style. He signed a basketball scholarship at UK, where he was part of that great, fabulous freshman class, along with Kevin Greavy, Bob Guyette, and Mike Flynn. I think they were all Mr. Basketball in their states. Isn't that right, Jimmy Dan? And of course, played as a senior in what I consider to be one of the greatest basketball games I've ever witnessed, and that was Kentucky against Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers in the finals of the Mideast Regional. A great, great win for Kentucky that took them to the Final Four and the final game against John Wooden's last UCLA team. And I swear, Jimmy Dan, had Coach Wooden not announced he was going to retire, I swear I think the officials would have been a lot kinder to Kentucky. Please welcome Mr. Jimmy Dan Conner.
Thank you. It's a great honor to be here, and I was telling somebody I've traveled all over the world playing basketball, and a misconception out there is they think UK basketball is what makes Kentucky unique, and I would argue that that's not correct. That high school basketball in a school, Anderson County, I think we had 400 kids in our total school, and we almost came away with it. And I also said I've been in the finals of the NCAA and Sweet 16, and in this room, and most times I tell the truth, that it was more exciting to be in the finals of the Sweet 16 than it was in the finals of the NCAA. So thank you, it's a great honor, and I wish Jack were here, Upchurch, to share this with me. Thank you.
Our next inductee also could not be with us this morning. I'm assuming that Billy Donovan has him out hitting the recruiting trail. He better after the season Florida had. He played at Paintsville High School from 1983 to 87 and led the Tigers to the Sweet 16 in 85, 86, and 87. He scored 2,497 career points and garnered 1,318 rebounds. For his efforts, he was named All-State sophomore through senior years. He was named Mr. Kentucky Basketball, as well as a parade All-American in 1987. He went to UK and then became one of the members of the Unforgettables, a team at UK under Coach Rick Pitino. That's the 1992 team. He's been a head coach at Arkansas and is currently back as an assistant coach at the University of Florida. And you know, people talk about the great championship teams we've had here. I swear my favorite Rick Pitino team at UK was that very first team. I remember Kaywood Ledford saying that he didn't think they could win 5 games. And they ended up 14-14, which was remarkable considering the players they lost and what they had. I'll never forget at Rupp Arena, they were playing LSU, and LSU came in here with Shaquille, Stanley Roberts, another 7-footer, the guard who was then known as Chris Jackson, an All-American. And I'll swear Kentucky had them down by something like 27, Bill, I think in the first half. And I nudged Johnny McGill or Jerry Tipton, or I said, you know, some of this guy might be able to coach a little bit. But let's have a round of applause for Paintsville High's John Lee Pelford. Our next inductee played at Davies County High School from 1954 through 58. And Bobby, 58, I was selling Coca-Colas in the stands at Memorial Coliseum while you all were out there playing basketball. I had a great deal. I would sell like crazy up until the opening tip-off. Then I would go hide and watch the game, and then sell like crazy at halftime, and then turn it in and watch the rest of it. That was certainly a great state tournament. Bobby was named to the all-tournament team in 57 and 58, and also received recognition as a high school All-American in 58, scoring 103 points in the 1958 state tournament makes Bobby among the great scoring leaders in Sweet 16 history. He went on to have a great college career at Western Kentucky University under the legendary Uncle Ed Diddle. Please welcome Mr. Bobby Rasco.
Well, I can say this, it's a great honor. Pleased to be here with all these other fellows today. I have a lot of people to be thankful for. One of them would be my high school coach, Wallace Buck Sidner. Greatest fundamental teacher that I ever played for, and also the greatest competitor. I had an opportunity then to go on to play for Ed Diddle, and everybody knows all the stories about Ed Diddle, and I was very, very fortunate to have had the opportunity to play for these guys. I also have today a couple of people that I want to recognize, or 3 I should say in all, that are here today. I have my college roommate, Warner Keynes. He's a fine roommate, and as I told him a little bit earlier, he was the CEO of the municipal utilities down here in Frankfort for 35 or 40 years, and I said, you did a much better job at that than you were a player. And then also I have my great friend and teammate, Darrell Carrier, here today. And you all know about Darrell and his achievements, and appreciate that. And I have my wife, Nancy, who's here on a dual trip today. She is going over to the University of Kentucky today, and she's involved in a cancer screening project they have going on over there. So I'm pleased to have her here. I want to say thank you to the Kentucky High School Athletic Association and all that they're doing, and this is a fantastic thing that's going on, and I'm very grateful. So thank everybody.
Here's also my idol pastor. That's how much older he is.
I'm not buying that either. Our next inductee also couldn't be with us today. He played only 2 years at Lafayette High School. His father worked for IBM, and when he was transferred into the new IBM plant in Lexington, he brought his son Jeff with him. Jeff Mullins played 2 years under Coach Ralph Carlisle. He was an all-state performer both years. Just a great outside shooter. He was Kentucky's Mr. Basketball in 1960, and naturally everybody here was hoping that he would follow Vernon Hatton and Billy Ray Lickard to UK, but instead he went to Duke to play for a young coach named Vic Bubas. As a senior, Jeff was a first-team All-American. He led the Blue Devils to the Final Four, where they lost to John Wooden's, I guess it was Wooden's first NCAA championship team. And he also was a member of the '64 Olympic team. He went on to have a 13-year career in the NBA, mostly with the San Francisco Warriors, and he later was the head coach at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. But here's the really important stuff to know about Jeff. I actually played against him at Woodland Park in the summer a few times. Why are you guys laughing? What is all this? That probably convinced me that my future lie in sports writing. The other thing is he married a local girl, a UK cheerleader named Candy Johnson. Candy was a dear friend of mine. And at the same time, she was dating Larry Conley and Jeff Mullins. It was like a two-horse race. And she would be on the phone, well, what do you think about this? And Jeff said this, and Larry did this. And I'm trying to be impartial. Although Larry being a Kentucky boy, I probably leaned a little bit towards Larry. And of course, she married Jeff. Anyhow, the great Jeff Mullins. He could shoot. He had that high dribble too. Remember, he could really put it on the floor. Okay, our next inductee played at Mayo High School from 1979 through 83. He was regarded as one of the most powerful and physical athletes to ever play high school ball in Kentucky. A fierce competitor, his rebounding and defense were equal to his outstanding offensive skills. He was named All-State in 81, 82, and 83, and in 83 was named Mr. Kentucky Basketball and a high school All-American. He led Mayo High School to national recognition as a senior. I think the thing that most people will remember Winston for is that it was assumed, since Denny Crum had started this pipeline to the Louisville high schools, especially at Mayo High School. You know, that's where he got Darrell Griffith and Bobby Turner and the Bunton brothers and Henry Bacon. I think everybody thought that Winston would follow that same route. Instead, he decided to play for the Kentucky Wildcats and Coach Joe B. Hall. Winston's senior year, that was Eddie Sutton's first team here, right, Winston? Your senior year. That was also another one of my favorite UK teams. I just loved the way those five guys played with Kenny Walker and Roger Harden and Blackman, senior as we call him now. That was a team that really deserved to go to the Final Four, and instead of all people playing against Dale Brown and LSU for the 4th time. They got beat in the regional finals, but that was to me always kind of an injustice because that team deserved to be a Final Four team. But anyhow, Winston has had one of the great careers both in high school and college. Please welcome Mr. Winston Bennett.
Thank you very much. Certainly I'm humbled in the most unbelievable way. To my wife who's here, and definitely to my coach, Coach Maurice Payne, Ken Tribbett, and everybody who had something to do with this. You know, as I think back, you know, I'd like to summarize this moment, and also I want to thank also the quadre of teammates. I stand on the shoulders of great men and ladies that have come with me and come before me. And certainly, you know, don't feel in the least bit, you know, like I should be in this quadre, but, you know, I'm thankful. Here's how I like to summarize this. When I was very young, I would see this man running up and down the street where I grew up. And I would poke my father in the side, and I said, Dad, look at that guy. You know, this is about, you know, 6:30 in the morning. This guy's out running up and down the street. And the guy would be running up and down the street, and he'd be doing this. And I said, Dad, look at him. Look at his lips. Look at what was he doing? What's he doing? And my dad wouldn't say nothing. So every morning I would see this. Finally, one day we saw in the paper where this guy was going to be downtown, and my dad said, you want to go see him? I said, yeah, I'd like to go see him. So the guy was in the corner, and this great throng of people was around him. And I said, Dad, there he is, there he is. Can I go over? So I ran over to the guy. I pushed through the crowd as if I was going to get a rebound, known for rebounding, so I like to get on the glass. So as I pushed through the crowd, I got up to this guy, and I said, sir, I see you run every morning, and are you crazy? So the guy looked down at me and said, no, little man, I'm not crazy, but I am the great Muhammad Ali. I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. I am the greatest. I never forgot that when I was small. I carried it around with me even to the day. Not that I'm the greatest, but I serve someone who is the greatest. That's why I'm here today. Because he's allowed me through every mistake to keep rebounding. One great man said this, if you land on your back, try to see your way up. Because if you can see your way up, you can get up.
That was one of the best Ali impersonations I've ever seen. Can you repeat that at the induction? Our next honoree played at Fairdale High School from 1987 to 91, and I see his coaches Stan Harden and Lloyd Pinkgarden in the crowd. You guys stand up and have a round of applause for these Fairdale coaches. His outstanding play was a key factor in bringing the state championship to Fairdale High School in both 90 and 91. He was named first team All-State in both years, and during those 2 seasons, he was named the KHS Sweet 16 Most Valuable Player, scoring more than 2,000 career points with more than 1,000 rebounds. Jermaine Brown became Kentucky's Gatorade Player of the Year and Kentucky's Mr. Basketball in 1991. Please welcome from Fairdale, Mr. Jermaine Brown.
Definitely a humbling experience. It's an honor for me to be here. You know, just growing up in this state, it's crazy, you know, just crazy about basketball. Fell in love with it instantly the first time I touched the ball. Just want to thank my coaches, teammates, family, and like I said, it's an honor to be here.
Our next inductee played at Olmsted High School from 1977 through 81. Lily Mason averaged 34 points and 15 rebounds as a senior. 34 points and 15 rebounds average. She scored more than 2,500 points while shooting 67% from the field and 84% from the free throw line. She was named to the All-State team in 80 and 81, as well as to the Parade and Converse All-American teams. She was named Miss Kentucky Basketball in 81 and went on to a distinguished career at Western Kentucky University, where she was named an All-American. Please welcome Ms. Lily Mason. Can you teach some of these Division I guys to shoot free throws?
Hello, it's an honor to be here today and to be recognized for my past accomplishments. Once you get older, you think, you know, is anybody going to ever remember what I done or what I tried to do? And here today, it shows that people still recognize you for your accomplishments. And I'm grateful for everything and being recognized. And I just want to take the time out to say thank you.
Our next inductee coached at Pikeville High School from 1943 through 1960. John Bill Trivett was regarded as one of the most innovative coaches in Kentucky high school basketball history. He is given credit by a lot of coaches, including John Wooden, who supposedly modeled his press at UCLA after some of Coach Trivett's defenses. Really the first pressing team in Kentucky. He started the East-West All-Star game in Pikeville in 1949, which was the first statewide All-Star series. He took his pressing Panthers through the state each year, playing in 5 LITs and 7 Sweet 16s from 1949 through 60. In those 11 years, the Panthers won 80% of their games, 11 consecutive district championships, 7 regional titles, and a third place Sweet 16 finish in 1957, the first year the state tournament was held in Freedom Hall. And that year he was named Kentucky's High School Coach of the Year. And on a personal note, I got to know John Bill through our friend Bill Malone. Bill and I would meet him every year at the Red Mile for the Kentucky Futurity, and I never got tired of hearing John Bill tell basketball stories. Here to accept on behalf of his father, his son, Ken Trivett.
First of all, I want to thank the people who are responsible for this organization, the Kentucky High School Basketball Hall of Fame Board, which are all anonymous people. Their selections are based on their own experiences seeing these players play, as well as the point system that they utilize. So the integrity of this organization is maintained. And I'd like to thank those people who voted him in. I'd like to thank those people here today, and I'd like to congratulate all these players that are here today, as well as the other players that have gone in before. The centennial class of the Kentucky High School Basketball Hall of Fame is going to culminate in 2017. There will be 100 inductees at that point, these among them, and the other 3 classes we've had put in. What was decided to do in the High School Basketball Hall of Fame was have 100 players inducted by 2017, the 100th anniversary of Kentucky High School Basketball. Couldn't put them all in at one time, so incrementally they have all been put in at different times. They are all equal in the eyes of the board, and they all will be considered a centennial class. They will receive a ring. There will only be 100 of these rings ever minted, and they will be given one of these rings at the induction celebration. That will basically be their award that I think will mean the most to them. Because when you take a Cliff Hagan and a Winston Bennett and a Lily Mason and a Mike Sullivan and on and on and on, when you see this final product, it will be a tremendous foundation for our Hall of Fame to grow. Thank you for the award on behalf of my father. The thing I remember most about him, he went everywhere to play. And I'll tell you a real quick story. One year we loaded up in station wagons. He always took us, the children. There were 4 of us. And we would take off, and here we go. We went from Pikeville to Adair County and played John Burr's Adair County team. We went to Paducah-Tillman and played Paducah-Tillman. We left there and went to Owensboro and played Owensboro. We came back to Lexington and played Lexington-Dunbar. We were able to win 3 out of 4 games, but we weren't able to win the next 6. But anyway, no. But that's the kind of, Dad believed in taking his team out into the state and giving them an opportunity to play in different places. And my experience for myself was that it was great fun and one hell of a ride. Thank you.
And I might add that John Bell was one of the first coaches to schedule the black schools. He was really a leader in the integration of Kentucky high school basketball. Our next inductee took ill last night, and I'm sorry he can't be with us today, but on the other hand, anytime you put a microphone in front of Jock Sutherland, you could be looking for a long day. Jock played at Lafayette High School and then became a coach. He said that was really all he ever wanted to do. He took 3 different teams to the state tournament: Gallatin County in 1959, Harrison County in 1966, and Lafayette in 1979, which he won with a team led by Dirk Minifield, who went on to have an outstanding career at UK. He was tagged as being the quickest thinking coach in America, and that had to do with the time probably when he was at Gallatin County. Jock was a pretty volatile guy, those of you who remember, and he ran out on the floor one time to protest an official's call. And the official said, "Coach, that's going to be 1 technical for every step it takes you to get back to the bench." Jock, being a quick thinker, called 2 of his reserves and had them pick him up and carry him back to the bench. And another thing about Jock, that he got out of high school basketball for a few years, couple of years, to go down to Alabama with C.M. Newton. And along with C.M., he deserves credit for integrating the Alabama basketball program. Alabama's first black player was a young man named Wendell Hudson. And Jock had gone to scout a game where he was supposed to be looking at a white player, but the one that really impressed him. And he came back and he told Coach Newton. Coach Newton went to Bear Bryant, the AD, and said, "Do you have any problem with this?" And Bear Bryant, to his credit, said, "No, sir. As long as you think he can meet the academic standards, that's fine." And that's how Wendell Hudson got to the University of Alabama. And of course, then Jock went on to a radio career, talk shows with Van Vance, and then he later was Van's color man, and he was a color man for the Louisville Cardinals broadcast. Here to accept today this honor on behalf of his father is his son, Charlie Sutherland.
Thank you. There's one thing, you're correct, Billy. My father never saw a microphone he didn't love. So this thing would probably gone on 2 o'clock if he was here. He is honored, he's thrilled, he's humbled. Those of you who know Jock might question that humble thing, but he truly is humble to be a part of this. He had a good friend taking him to the state high school basketball tournament when he was 12 years old. It impressed him so that he went home and told his mother, "I know what I want to do. I want to be a high school basketball coach and win the state tournament." And that's the course that he took. And he did go to Alabama for a couple of years, and he missed the high school game so much that he came back to take the Lafayette job. Now, part of that was, I'm not sure he was good at being the second man in command. I think he had a little ego there that he had to be the boss, but he came back because he loved Kentucky basketball. And in March of 1979, as the clock ticked down, they're playing Christian counties in the finals of the state tournament. And they're up sufficient that with about 2 minutes to go, he knows he's going to win. And he looked to his longtime assistant, Donnie Harville, who was such a great asset to him, and basically said, "Donnie, it's yours now. I'm done." So once he won that first state tournament, he was done. And I asked him many times after that, I said, do you miss it? He said, Lord, no. So that was a hell of a lot of work to win that one. I'm not sure I could live long enough to win a second one. So he got that one. He was happy. He was done. He loved Kentucky basketball. It was just, you know, like he's not here. He's not here, but he's still here. He loves Kentucky basketball. And this is such a great honor, and it puts a great exclamation point on a wonderful career. And one of the other things he is so happy and proud about is he's being joined by these other great representatives of Kentucky basketball as a part of this class. So on his behalf, he thanks everyone who's responsible for this. He thanks for being included. You're probably not going to be this lucky in July because he'll be there and he'll talk a lot longer than I do. But thank everyone, and appreciate it.
Our next honoree coached at North Hardin High School for 38 years, from 1975 through 2013, a career spanning over 1,150 games. He is one of the 5 winningest coaches in Kentucky high school basketball history, with more than 800 victories, all at the same school. His teams won 12 regional championships. They were state tournament semifinalists in 2001 and 2, and state tournament runner-up in 82. Coach Ron Bevers also has served as president of the Kentucky Association of Basketball Coaches and has been an active promoter of the sport's rich history. Another personal note, I've gotten to know Ron through the High School Basketball Hall of Fame Committee. We had lunch a while back, and like most coaches, he had some wonderful stories about coaching players like Brett Burrow and Robbie Valentine, but just an amazing career with more than 800 career victories. Please welcome Mr. Ron Bevers.
Thank you very much. I'll be brief here, but I certainly do appreciate the committee selecting me. I consider myself somewhat of a basketball historian, so I know that this is a big deal. Played basketball for almost 100 years, and to be inducted into the first class, or actually it's the fourth class, Billy, but it's quite an honor. And real quick, I started coaching, got my first coaching job as an assistant coach back in 1971 at North Hardin. I had a friend that got drafted, he was assistant coach, he got drafted, so they needed a coach there, and Wally Johnson was the head coach. So I went up in like first day of November and interviewed for the job. I was going to interview for the job, I thought it was. I was a little bit nervous. I got there and introduced myself, and he mispronounced my name when he introduced me to the team, Beavers, which a lot of people pronounce it that way. And anyway, I sat and watched practice, and after practice was over, walking back to the coach's office, he said, "You think you can coach a little basketball?" I said, "I hope so." He said, "I do too, because you're all I got." And then I got the head coaching job. We interviewed for the job, and they hired a guy from, when Wally quit, they hired a guy from Maysville named Bob Hall. Bob got the job. He hired me back as assistant coach that summer. Bob never showed up. August, the week before school starts, principal calls me and said, "That guy's not coming." He said, "Would you take the job for 1 year?" I said, "Well, most coaching jobs are for 1 year." And so, you know, each year, that principal was there for 20 years, and he would call me in and say, "Would you take it for another year?" And so we operated like that. But like I said, I have a lot of friends out here. I worked for Coach Lane over there for 20-some years. And we actually started some of this stuff with summer basketball coach. So we, you know, and he had a great summer camp there, and I always liked it because he taught the kids just more than basketball, about being good character and all those type of things. I've got a friend. I got one assistant coach here, I think, Gary French back there. Gary got the job about like I did. It was late August, and we needed a coach, and he took the job. Of course, his hometown wouldn't hire him at the time, so we went to the state tournament, won 2 regions, and then they were trying to beg him to come down there and coach the D-Town and did a great job there. But thanks again, and like I said, I'm very humbled to be a part of this.
Before I introduce our last inductee, I'd like to introduce another coach, because he coached in my alma mater, Transylvania University, Coach Don Lane. Now, Bobby and Mayor, you want to talk about old? I covered this guy when he was playing at Versailles High School. Wore those little black high top Chuck Taylors, right? And had that left-handed jump shot that he took to Union College, where his scoring records probably still stand. Now, you're sitting right there next to Kenny Davis. What is the ratio of shots to assist in this tandem right here? I want to say 10 to 1, maybe something. I also want to give a special thanks to the City of Elizabethtown, Mayor Berger, Charlie Bryant, Ed Poppy, WKYT Television for their videos, Chris Slater, the KABC webmaster, Gina Rice from HCE TV in Elizabethtown, Rafferty's Restaurant, Leo Wise Pruitt and Kathy Johnston, who put together the collages and inductee information, Gateway Printing, and Jostens, who's going to be doing the rings for us. Finally, last but certainly not least, the late Coach Earl Jones, who coached at Maysville High School from 1931 through 55. Coach Jones had a record of 470 wins and only 80 losses. His teams made several trips to the state tournament, winning a total of 19 tournament games. They were state champions in 1947 when Coach Jones was named the Coach of the Year. Was one of the icons of the early golden years of Kentucky high school basketball. And here to say a few words about his high school coach is a member, a star of that 1947 state championship team. Please welcome Mr. Harlan Fats Tolles.
First of all, the thing I want to say, I'm glad to be here today. I'm glad to be anywhere today. To talk about Earl Jones, I think he's one of the greatest high school coaches I've ever seen in my life. When I started to play basketball, I was so little I didn't know I'd ever be able to play or not. But I just kept staying around, and playing with the basketball every day. He gave me the chance to play, and I remember when I was in the 8th grade that we were practicing, and we had all these other boys who were big old boys. We never had any big boys, we just played big. And anyhow, they would beat me to death, and they asked me if I was trying to make the team. I said, well, I'll tell you one thing, if you don't kill me by time opening day, I will make the team. And I wound up making it, and I was very fortunate with his help, the coaching that he gave me. He was the fundamentalist, and he was really strict at everything we done. We were a defensive team, but we could score. And he also helped me to get my college career, and where I played at Morehead State University. And I was really great for the things that I've done. I got to play in 2 NCAA tournaments. I got to play in the NIT. I played in the National AAU tournament in Denver, Colorado. I played against the All-American Redheads, the House Davids, the Globetrotters, and I also played in another tournament. So many of them I can't remember. But I was able to play in almost every national championship that you can play in the United States. And very few boys can say that, so I owe that all to him. He was a great, great coach and a great person, and we'll all miss him greatly, and this is honor that he really deserves. Thank you very much.
How in the world did you get the nickname Fats?
Well, look at me. First of all, this is a long story, and I've told it 10,000 times. When I was born, I was a fat baby. My uncle came in the room at the hospital and he said, well, look at Fatso. It saved all of my life. And That's all my dad would call me as I was growing up, so I answered to it. When I went to college, that's all anybody called me. If you go back to Maysville right now and say anything except Fat Stowe, they wouldn't know who you were talking about. But that's how I got it. I was just a fat baby. I've never been fat in my life. And I hope I never will be.
Okay, let's hear it for the class of 2015. Now, for you members of the media, these guys will be available for one-on-one interviews when we're done here. But does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask any of these inductees right now? Any questions anybody have?
I'd like to ask Bevers if he's going to bring the jeweler with him.
Going to bring the jeweler?
Yeah, he was his favorite referee.
Oh, the referee was called the jeweler? He was a jeweler.
He did whatever members told him.
Sounds like sour grapes to me, Ron.
There's 3 guys from Bowling sitting out there, and they would never come back to North Arkansas.
Okay, if there are no other questions, we're going to conclude the program with door prizes. Who's in charge of door prizes? Here it is, Mr. Trippett.
Many of you got a little ticket when you came in, and we are, our #1 door prize is the Kentucky High School Basketball Encyclopedia. This book, put together by Jeff Watkins over a period of about 10 years, you're talking about a starving artist. This has a complete record of Kentucky high school basketball from its beginning until a year or two ago. It is a tremendous book, 600 some pages, and it'll be on sale, by the way, at the KHSA Suite 16 out in the hallway. He and his publisher will be selling this book. It is a treasure. It is a treasure for this state to have something like this. There is no other state in the United States that has a book that covers the history of its sport. Everybody, I tell you an example. In the 15th region, they had all the teams that they could find that had ever been in the 15th region and hung banners in the gymnasium during the regional tournament. A guy called me, and I'd been up in the 15th region. He said, "Have you ever heard of, now hold it, where's, of 2 schools? One of them was, where is, Paul, what were the schools? Well, one of them in Johnson County, named after the lady that was, Jenny Wiley. It was named Jenny's Creek. And Jenny's Creek was where Jenny Wiley, who was captured by the Indians back in the day, 1700s, captured, kept by the Indians, and she ran away and came back to home. And our Jenny Wiley State Park is named after her. Well, Jenny's Creek was the creek that she was captured in and lived in. Well, anyway, they called me back there and said, "Now, we've got all these schools. Has anybody ever heard of Jenny's Creek?" And I said, "Well, I certainly haven't." And I said, "But I've got a book." Looked in this book, and sure enough, Jenny's Creek was in existence 5 years. 5 years. The last year, they went 0-26, and that was Jenny's Creek's last year. But anyway, it was in this book. Amazing what's in here. It is a true history of our sport.
Wait a minute. We ought to give a choice of door prizes. You can have either this book or Bob White, who knows every score in this thing. So you have your choice.
Bob, you want to come up front? Okay. Here you go. I'm going to pull out a number if you have your ticket. And the ticket number is 684-135. 684-135. Now, we have just a few more. Remember, we have a few Hall of Fame shirts to give away. Billy, if you kind of size these up for me, they're large and extra large, so I'm going to ask a few questions to see how well some of you paid attention of what was going on. First of all, the first question is kind of like Jeopardy. Who is this? This inductee gave us tremendous laughs throughout his career. Who could this be? Jock Sutherland. Right here it is. First man to speak is the one who gets it. Jock Sutherland. Come in and get your shirt. Get your shirt. He wears small.
All we got
Yeah.
all we have are larges.
No, it's a large short.
Oh, Lordy. Anyway, the second question. She was a true champion. Who could that have been? Of all the ones we've discussed and talked about, she was a true champion. Yukari Figs is correct. 3 championships, high school, college, and the pros. The third one, he knew how to do laundry and press. Who could that be? John Bill Trivet, Chris Slater. Chris Slater said it first. They were 3 championship Bulldogs. There were 3 Bulldogs. Their teams were Bulldogs. Who were they in this class? Hold it, you gotta say all 3 of them. Now, who hold up your hand? Who wants to know? Who are they? You don't know all 3 of them. Who are the 3? That's correct. Stanley, give it to your assistant, would you please? Fairdale, Mayo, and Maysville were the 3 Bulldog teams in this class. we have a sackcloth here if you need to. Okay. He became rich when he found gold. Which one of our inductees? He's not. Mike Silliman. There you go. Mike Silliman was a member of the gold medal 68 championship team in the Olympics. She was certainly, now this is a hard one. This is the last one. This probably is the hardest one of all. Here you go. He became rich, excuse me, that was right. She was certainly a Valley girl. Lily Mason, who said that? Who said that first? I heard it over here first. Lily Mason, who said it? Wayne Chapman. Lily of the Valley. There you go. As the KBC Executive Director, we are a partner with the High School Basketball Hall of Fame. And it's certainly a pleasure for us to work with them very closely. I have the honor to be able to work with these people and working with them to make sure that their experience in coming into the Hall of Fame is a lifelong experience. I want to thank them for being here. I want to say one last story of what kind of people we're getting in our Hall of Fame. Jimmy Dan Connor, when I was at University of Kentucky as a graduate assistant, I got to know those guys and that team, the fab freshmen and so forth. But Jimmy Dan was the leader of that team. He did things for people that nobody knows about. He did things behind the scenes. His basketball was exceptional, but his character was even greater. A lot to do with Jack Up Church and their association with each other. And Jack is no longer with us, but God love his soul. And Jimmy Dan is here with us. And I just wanted to say how much, Jimmy Dan, you meant to me when I was there and to many others. Ann Up Church is with us, Jack's wife also in the rear. And she's our secretary treasurer for our Hall of Fame. And Jack will be missed, but Ann will take on his legacy, as will Jimmy Dan and those who loved and knew him. Thank you very much.